And welcome to day 17 of Living Your Happier Life. All right, the last of the big three for the body. I think you've probably guessed what it is. We've talked about sleep, we've talked about energizing our body through exercise and movement and laughing. Well, what do you think the third one is? I know you're saying it out loud. I know that you're saying, I'm psychic, I can tell what you're saying. That is nutrition, food. Yep, that is what we're going to talk about. Because in order to have the kind of health and vitality that nourish our bodies, we actually have to give our bodies the fuel that it needs to thrive. Think about it. If you drove a Lamborghini, would you put diesel fuel in it and then expect it to run well or expect it to run at all? Or if you were tending a beautiful rose bush, would you feed it poison and expect it to flourish? No. You've probably had the experience of stuffing yourself full with fast food, maybe a cheeseburger and French fries and a milkshake, which, by the way, are my personal favorites when I was a kid. And, it sounds good when you're hungry, but after you've eaten it, you just feel awful. You just feel really icky, There is that saying, we are what we eat. Well, the good news is that we can actually use that to our advantage. We can actually consciously put things in our body that feeds our life force, that really nourishes and builds those chemicals of happiness. That's the cool thing. Serotonin and all these chemicals of happiness, they can be fed through proper food. And when you have that, what it does is it leaves you feeling great physical energy, but also great clarity of mind and more happiness. Whereas when we're eating the happiness-robbing foods, they leave us feeling tired and dull and not as happy. And the bottom line is our bodies need the right nutrition so that they can release the biochemicals of happiness. Now, I have to tell you that in terms of the whole home for happiness model, I actually believe that for me, when I was growing up, and I tell you that I had low-grade depression, that this was the area that I was the weakest in. This was the area that I needed the most help with. And a lot of it had to do with what I was eating. I did not have enough serotonin. I was very depleted. And so I'm going to get down to some specifics here. And there are three things that all doctors tend to agree on in terms of nutrition that will help your happiness. I'm not going to be very popular right now, but I'm just reporting. I'm just the messenger. I'm reporting what research has found to actually deplete us or rob us of our happiness from the level of nutrition. The first one, sugar. Yep. So there's my philosophy is to shake the sugar. Sugar depletes your serotonin, and I was a sugar addict my whole life. I told you earlier how I needed to eat fudgicles in order to get through my day when I was in high school and grade school. Well, and a while ago, when I was going through menopause, I was having a really rough time. And a doctor recommended to me that I go off of sugar to help me with the hot flashes and with the moodiness and all of that. And I did. What I did is I took some serotonin boosters, herbal boosters and food boosters, because the reason that we get addicted to sugar is that we need more serotonin. Once you have enough serotonin, the addiction to sugar really subsides or goes away. And so I have been completely off of sugar now it's been over 10 years. I have to confess that I have had sugar 3 times during that time. And the next morning when I woke up after having that sugar, I felt the way I used to feel with that more of low-grade depression. So I'm not talking about natural sugar. I eat regular natural sugar. I'll eat apples and things like that. I'm talking about refined sugar. And sugar is a powerful drug. And so different people respond to it differently. But just do an experiment if you can with serotonin. Now, there is a website that I highly, highly recommend. There's a woman named Julia Ross. She wrote The Food Cure and The Mood Cure and The Diet Cure. There's a woman named Julia Ross, and she wrote a book called The Mood Cure. And in the book, or on her website, you can find a questionnaire. It's also in Happy for No Reason. It's a questionnaire that will allow you to see whether you're low in serotonin or endorphins or GABA or dopamine, and what you can actually do to strengthen those so that you can more easily go off of things like sugar. Now, the second thing you want to do, the first one is shake the sugar. The second one, curb the carbs. And I'm not talking about eliminating carbs. There are, so many different diets out there, as many as there are people. So I'm not going to be talking about paleo or this or that, because I do believe that there are different strokes for different folks. But in general, make sure that you're not consuming too many processed carbohydrates, especially. Carbohydrates break down in your body as sugar or as glucose, so having too much of them have the same negative effect. Now, the last one, and I'm really not going to make friends on this one, I apologize, but number 3 is kick the caffeine. We are definitely an over-caffeinated population. At least in America, we've got over 21 million Americans drinking 6 or more cups of coffee every day. There's Starbucks on every corner. In fact, I've been in some cities where there have been 2 Starbucks directly catty corner to each other on the same street. And a lot of people tend to think, oh, I'm fine, I'm doing great. But they're doing great because they're consuming so much caffeine that it makes them appear fine. The reality is that they may be living off of fumes. So if you're living on a lot of caffeine in order to get by, it's probably going to catch up with you at some point where you might go into adrenal exhaustion or adrenal fatigue. So watch out about over-caffeinating yourself. Okay, so those are the 3 don'ts. There is one do. And this one, it's precious. What's the one thing that you can do instead of these to help your body? Water. We are dehydrated, and we don't even know it. So here's the recommendation. Half of your body weight every day in ounces of water. So if you weigh 150 pounds, that would be 75 ounces of water. And that can make such a huge difference. I have a water bottle with me that I carry all the time, and this is 16 ounces, and I drink 5 of these a day. So when you do the practice of listening to your body's wisdom that we talked about earlier in the program, and you start doing the things that your body is saying, help, I need this, it's really going to be the beginning of a very beautiful friendship with your body. When you make your cells happy, you make yourself happy. And you do this by the things we've talked about over those last 4 days. You tune into your body's wisdom. You nourish your body by what you take in. You energize your body through movement and through getting the right amount of sleep. And you feel that prana or life force flowing through your body. So I'm going to wrap up this section. You can tell I really love this section on the body, yeah? It's a big thing for me. When I really saw the power of how when I took care of getting enough serotonin in my body and endorphins and all these feel-good chemicals, how much better I felt, how it boosted my happiness, that was just, this is such a big thing for me. That's why I'm so passionate about it. So I'm going to wrap up this section on the body with a quote from the ever-famous Anonymous, who said, if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? So tomorrow we talk about the pillar of the soul. And until then, have fun taking care of this precious body of yours.